Welcome to Best of the Nest, a program produced by the television production students of Armstrong High School that takes a look at things from their point of view. I'm Cece Riggy of AHS-TV, and today we'll be taking a look at high school sports with Nashea Kuntz. Take it away, Nashea.
Hello, I'm Nashea Kuntz with AHS-TV, and in this segment of Best of the Nest, we will take a look at school sports and what makes a good coach, and how it's viewed from the student's perspective. We are talking with two AHS teachers to get an Hawks-eyed view. Welcome to Best of the Nest, and could you introduce yourself to the viewers?
I'm Miss Olivia Kovalosky. I am a learning support teacher here at the high school and also a former student, class of 2020.
I am Josh Miklos. I teach woodshop here, and I was class of Katanning High School in 2001, and I've been a coach throughout that time, though it's been about 10 years since I coached last.
Ms. Kovalosky, what made you get into coaching?
Well, I've been a cheerleader my whole entire life, so when the opportunity arose about 2.5, 3 years ago, I jumped up on it. Actually, the math teacher here, Mrs. Bailey, is the head coach, and she reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to coach, and I honestly didn't even hesitate because I felt that if I couldn't cheer anymore, I needed an alternative route, which was coaching cheer.
What are some qualities that make a good coach?
I think obviously the most important is probably the sport knowledge. And then I would say the second most important is probably patience, and learning how to work with kids and setting up practices and that sort of thing. But I'd say patience and knowledge is the two most important things.
What are some techniques you use to motivate your students?
Some techniques I use, I feel like being a coach is almost kind of equivalent to being a teacher in a sense, so you can kind of use some of those same tactics that you use in the classroom. I help motivate them by just being positive reinforcement, like if they do something good or a stunt hits or things like that, I'm always, motivating them, but it also comes with some constructive criticism and discipline as well. Everyone's made to make mistakes, so I just think that always keeping them motivated, and even if something, goes wrong or, we are disciplining them, just know that they can, make up for that or come back from that.
How do you deal with difficult situations in sports?
That's kind of an open-ended question, but it depends. But I would jump back to what I said before and just say patience, working with each, student athlete individually. It really depends, but patience.
And for you, what is your view on the relationship between academics and athletics?
This is a big one, academics and athletics. Academics is always going to come first. It's going to be the most important, and I think some kids forget about that because they think that, that sport may just get them through instead of the academic, but it's really not, because there are, sports can end, you need your academics to be able to get a job and be able to make money and create your life. So I really think that their students' view can kind of be a little bit blindsided. So as a teacher and a coach, have to make sure I'm really motivating, if somebody is on academic suspension, hey, we really got to keep those up, because if you want to be able to continue to play that sport, then you have to keep up your academics.
And how would you handle a parent's concern about their children's playing time?
Yeah, I've actually had a couple situations like that, and I think it's important to be consistent with every student athlete. Your goal as the coach is the team's success. So if you're consistent, you don't play favorites, I think it'll do you some good.
And can you tell a difference between those who play sports and those who don't in your classroom setting?
I think there's always going to be that difference, because everyone has their own different, things that they like to do. But I don't really think you can, tell much besides if somebody's wearing a shirt that says, that sport. But I really think, in the movies we see that the football players are these really popular guys, and they're the jocks and things like that. But I really don't think that that's I don't try to see that as the dynamic in my classroom or at school.
And what is the most rewarding part of being a coach for you?
I would say team success, but also individual success. A lot of student athletes are working on something from the very beginning. So when they succeed at something, maybe a PR or personal best, I think that's probably the most rewarding, and definitely team success. When you see people meshing and students that didn't know each other start to mesh and create that team environment, that's probably the best as a coach.
And as a coach, what values do you have for your team?
The values I have for my team are many. Attitude, honor, respect. I mean, all those things, because it is important. They need to have a good attitude when they come in. I mean, we're not going to be able to practice to our full potential if everyone has a bad attitude. And the honor, they need to honor and respect, their coaches, their teammates, and even if we're playing, or at a school sport, they need to be respectful to the athletes and the people that are coming into that, because we are representing the community, not only ourselves, but the school and the community. So I really, really hold their values and their respect to a high standard.
And would you give any advice to a person coming into coaching?
Yeah, I'm going to jump back and say it again. Patience is the number one thing, and professionalism. I know a lot of people that get into coaching, or teachers at least, are younger. They want to get involved. I would say try to practice, try to pull from some maturity and professionalism, and have that patience and study. I know personally a couple coaches that coach football, and the time they put in is, and that's just football, it goes across all sports, but the time they put in is unbelievable. I mean, I know they get paid for it, but what you get paid is not near the time that you put in. So it has to be a passion for it, for sure.
And have you learned any lessons since you got into coaching?
I have learned many lessons, yeah. I mean, it takes a strong person to be able to do it, because some days are harder than others, but it's honestly super rewarding. I've made a lot of good relationships with people and built good rapport with students, connections like that. So I've learned a lot, lots of good things, lots of bad things, lots of lessons, but it's rewarding in that sense.
Thank you, Kovalosky, and thank you for joining me today. Our own Leah Zimmerman took into the halls of AHS to get a student's perspective. Let's take a closer look.
Hello, I'm Leah Zimmerman of AHS-TV, and today we'll be taking a closer look into school sports and what makes a good coach. What do you think will make a good coach?
I think a good coach cares about its players on and off the ice, is involved in the community, and tries to bring the team together as a whole, I would say.
Zane, what sports did you play in high school?
I currently play football and basketball.
Do you think that underclassmen should be allowed on a varsity team?
Well, if they're good enough, then probably, but if they're bad, probably not.
Do you think a parent has an effect on their coach?
I think they can. If parents are, negatively affecting, maybe they're like yelling at the parents or they're causing big fusses, like that can make the coach have a negative light on that student, athlete, and things like that. I think it can be in a positive way as well. Excuse me. If a parent is really involved and helping out the team and things like that, like not that they would get an advantage, but I think that would cause like a really positive, attitude about everything.
Maya, do you think that students who play certain sports get treated differently because they play those sports?
Yes, I do. Like, for example, football. I think they are very spoiled with boosters, and they get treated a lot differently than any other sport does. So, yeah.
I don't think necessarily in a negative way, because a lot of times when you say treated differently, like a lot of people take that in a negative light. But I think, student athletes are a big part of culture in school and the community, and I think it's usually a positive thing if students are involved in sports. Not necessarily different sports, like I think being in a sport in the first place is really, a positive thing for the school.
Can you tell a difference in your classmates from those who play sports and those who don't?
Yeah, I think you can, like, even with how some of them dress and, like, obviously get, like, hoodies of your team sport, or, like, cheerleaders wear their uniforms, football players. So, yeah, I definitely think you could tell a difference.
Yeah, a little bit. I think students who play sports, they have to maintain the eligibility, they have to maintain a GPA, they have to be, in good rapport, they can't be getting in trouble, things like that. So those students tend to definitely be more on track and making sure that they're getting their work done and stuff.
Well, there you have it, folks. Straight from the Hawks Beak. We'll take it back to the studio.
Thanks, Leah. And for those who are just joining us, I'm Nashea Kuntz with AHS-TV, and I'm now joined with Marlo and McKenna to talk about high school sports. Now, what sports do you play?
Basketball, volleyball, and track and field.
And you?
Volleyball and softball.
And have you generally had a good experience playing your sport?
Yes, I have, because sports is basically like my whole entire life and like personality. I have had like some trouble with coaches in the past, but for the most part, it's been really enjoyable.
Do you think certain students who play sports are treated differently?
Yes, I do, because say you are playing basketball and then you're golfing, you're not going to get told in golf to run people over or play defense, and then like basketball, you're not going to get told to like hit the ball to the pin. Like,
yeah, a little. I don't really know how to explain it. It's just different sports. There are different like atmospheres.
Okay. What advice would you give to someone who needs help managing school and sports?
to definitely focus on your schooling over sports. I know that's hard to do as an athlete, but if you aren't doing good in your schooling, then sometimes you might not be able to participate in the sport, and that definitely is effective on you.
I think organization is like key. Like I have a planner and I write all my my practices, my games, and all of my school assignments down in there, and it really helps me stay organized and keep them separate.
What's your biggest motivation that helps you keep going in your sports?
To definitely do good and to do good, but also make myself feel complete and proud of myself.
Just for myself, honestly, to be able to prove to myself that I can do it and be proud of myself.
All right. And what's the biggest lesson you've learned while playing your sports?
To not take things so much to heart, to just kind of take it in and just let it go.
To work hard, but also have fun, because that's the most important part. There's no point in playing your sport if you're not having any fun.
And have you managed difficult relationships with either coaches or teammates?
Yes. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, there's been some troubles with softball, specifically travel teams. There has been a coach, so.
What is the most challenging experience you've had to face as a player?
So I play 3 sports, and my seasons do run into each other, so I try and balance that out, but it's sometimes hard and it sometimes causes conflict, but I just try my best to even things out.
Mm-hmm.
Taking care of myself and making time for myself and my other friends that don't play sports with me, making sure I keep those relationships is a little hard because I'm so busy all the time.
What skills have you developed while playing sports that you can use in other parts of your life?
Definitely just patience, I'd say. You have to have a lot of patience in sports, and you have to have a lot of patience in your actual life.
I'd say getting along with people, because you have to get along with all of your teammates for it to actually work and for it to be fun and to win as a team. So that's been a really big takeaway for me.
And are you motivated by yourself or by your coaches and teammates?
I say everyone definitely plays a huge factor, but it has to come from you first, then followed by your teammates and coaches.
Yeah, honestly, my biggest motivation is my teammates, because I never want to let my teammates down, and also myself and my coaches, but I feel teammates are first for me.
What would be some advice you would give to your younger self when you're first starting out?
To definitely just take your time, and it is okay to make mistakes. No one is perfect. Practice makes permanent. Practice does not make permanent.
Just to cherish it and to work hard, but still have fun doing it, because that's the most important.
And if you could start your life over, would there be another sport you would wish to experience?
Tennis. I think I could be good at tennis.
I would want to do gymnastics. I did it when I was younger for a hot minute, but I wish I would have kept doing it because I feel that would have been fun.
Thank you for Marlo and McKenna for joining us today to get the Hawk's Eye viewed on coaching and school sports. Until next time, I'm Nashea Kuntz with AHS-TV. Keep on soaring.
Thanks, Nashea. We're going to take a short commercial break and we'll be right back with more of AHS-TV's Best of the Nest.
We're all searching for opportunity, a challenge. Here, asking what if, what's possible, is the mindset. Welcome to the Oak Grove at IUP, where big-time research opportunities are for the many, not just the few. And world-renowned professors ignite ambitions. Search here, and there's no telling how far you'll grow. Get in the Grove at IUP.
And we're back with more of AHS-TV's Best of the Nest. I'm Cece Riggy of AHS-TV. Next, our own Jaden Sims got the chance to sit down with AHS music teacher, Mr. Meyer. Let's take a look.
Welcome back to AHS-TV. I'm your host, Jaden Sims, and today I'm joined here with Mr. Meyer. What class do you teach, Mr. Meyer?
Well, I teach senior high chorus and a little bit of introduction to guitar and music theory next semester.
And what's your favorite?
Probably intro to guitar.
Yeah, I take intro to guitar. I really like it too. It's fun. How many kids do you teach, like, in chorus?
I think like 125, 130, something like that, split in 4 classes through the day. So my biggest class, maybe 50.
Oh, wow. Is it, like, hard to control, like, a big group of 50?
Well, it depends how many kids are a pain in the butt. You get a few of those, but for the most part, I'm used to working with large groups. So.
Right. What was, like, when you were in high school, were you in the choir?
I was in chorus all the way through high school. Yep.
Nice. Did you go to districts or anything? Do they have that?
I went to districts my senior year and then made it onto regions and then was too much of a slacker with practice. So.
Nice. Yeah. I mean,
you know about being a slacker.
I do. So, like, your chorus teacher, would you say that, like, you took a lot after him, like, being a chorus teacher now? Would you say, like, when you were in chorus, you do a lot of the things that he does the same?
Yeah,
are you different?
But yeah. We probably have similarities. You know, you learn off of, right. You copy people that you think are good at what they do, and that's kind of what I did. And I have a number of people that I steal from.
Right. What college did you go to, and what major?
I went to IUP, and I majored in music education.
Nice. And, like, after you graduated from IUP, what was your first teaching job?
My first gig, I went back to the high school I graduated from.
And that was Ford City?
That was Ford City High School, which was a little crazy because I was only 4 years older than those kids.
Right.
So
what was that like?
It was intense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it again.
I believe it. And I hear it's, like, intimidating for sure.
Oh, yeah. Definitely intimidating.
Like, would some of the kids, like, look older than you?
Yeah.
I feel like that would be weird.
Yeah.
Honestly.
You know, when they have more facial hair than me, that's a little upsetting. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be weird. Is there any other hobbies that you have, like, outside of music?
Most of what I do is musical, but I don't know. I got a lot of skills. I roof my own house. I do my own plumbing.
Do your own pole?
Yeah. Well, no, maintain my own pole.
Yeah, I mean,
can't build a pole, but oh yeah. So I'm a pretty handy guy. There's a lot of that stuff I like to do.
And do you have a dream vacation?
I like North Carolina, and I like to sit at home. I guess my dream vacation would just be going on cruises.
Yeah, I want to go on a cruise. I've never been. Yeah. So would you ever, like, want to, like, vacation out of the country? Because I know, like, that's kind of what I want to do. I want to go to, like, Italy and stuff.
I'd like below Mexico. That I guess that's where I'd prefer to be.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to go to Mexico too. Mexico.
I'd like to see other places, but I like the sun a lot. So
yeah. Have you ever thought about doing anything besides teaching?
Yeah, all the time.
Like what?
I don't know. I've been doing this for like 20 years, and I just feel like if something else came along, I might take it. Yeah. I like my summers off, so that'd be tough to give up. But I don't know. I have a lot of skills outside. Like if I can roof my own house, there's lots of stuff I could do. So I don't know. I don't have anything particular in mind, but
yeah, I feel like that'd be really cool to, you know, switch from one thing to another.
Get a change of pace, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, speaking of, like, music, and do you like to go to any, like, Do you have like any favorite artists that you like to go see in concert or anything?
Yeah, growing up in the late 90s, my favorite band is Dave Matthews Band, so been to quite a few of those concerts. And I lead worship at my church, so I listen to a lot of contemporary Christian stuff, so I hit a lot of those concerts too.
And you said you play like in a band?
Yep, I play in our worship band at church. I play keys, sing, and then I learned bass because we were short a bass player, so I thought I should pick that up.
Yeah.
So I do a little of that too.
Pretty cool. What all instruments do you play?
Right there it was. That was it. Piano and bass. I learned to play all sorts of things, but I don't think I could make a sound out of like a clarinet at this point. So.
I mean, and on like, aside from like chorus and stuff, did you ever do like a musical in high school?
I was in a musical my senior year. Yeah.
What was the musical?
Bye Bye Birdie.
Oh, Bye Bye Birdie.
I was just an extra, so I don't remember much of anything. Screwing around.
Do you ever go and see musicals? Like, do you watch our school musicals?
Oh yeah, I come to our school musicals. I'm not a giant musical fan, but I really love Wicked. I like Les Mis, Jekyll and Hyde. Some of the big ones I love.
Right. And one question I was like really wondering is, how do you pick our chorus songs, like the ones that we sing every year?
Well, since I've done this for like 20 years, I've got like a pretty sweet library of stuff, stuff that I know has worked before. So at this point in my career, I'm just like jumping back to things that I know work, like, you know, and it really depends on the ability level of the group. If I got a little weaker guy section, then I got to pick something that's just appropriate for that. So
you kind of have music like for every situation almost.
Yeah, and not that I don't pick new stuff, but I know what's worked in the past, and I know what's stunk in the past, so I'm able to avoid stuff that I know isn't going to work out for us.
Right. I feel like chorus is like really situational. Like I feel like it's so different every year.
It is.
When your seniors graduate, it just changes like everything. It's like last year. I mean, I feel like everywhere was strong last year, though.
Yeah, it is. At the end of the year, you think, oh, this is what I have for next year. And I don't know. It's hard to register that, oh, yeah, there's 30, 40 kids leaving.
Right, you're losing all of them.
And you're not always sure what you get the next year. So.
Yeah. And one of my last questions is, it's been a popular one. You know, Liam Badek, he actually wanted me to ask this. Do you think we could sing Seize the Day or That Lonesome Road for our spring concert?
I think I'd rather choke on my own vomit than sing either one.
Well, that was a wonderful interview, Mr. Meyer. Thank you for your time.
And finally, in a recent Squawk Talk, we compared Christmas and Thanksgiving. Let's see what they found.
I'm joined by Sid and Ben today, and we're going to be talking about Thanksgiving versus Christmas. Thanks for being here, guys.
You're welcome.
And how do you guys feel about the two different sides? Like, do you like Thanksgiving more?
Yeah, I like Thanksgiving. You don't have a lot of stress when it comes to Thanksgiving like Christmas with buying presents. I feel like there's more food offered, and you know, Thanksgiving football is a lot better.
Now, what is your favorite Thanksgiving food? That's like the big question.
That's a good question.
I say stuffing.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one.
It's one of my favorites too. What's your favorite Christmas food?
See, I'm a big ham guy, but I'd probably have to go with stuffing too.
Yeah, I love ham.
But
why do you think Christmas is a better holiday than Thanksgiving?
Well, I feel like if we're talking food-wise, I feel like Thanksgiving you kind of only eat on one day, and meanwhile, like Christmas, you know, you have Christmas Eve and you have Christmas Day. So I feel like the Thanksgiving has better food, but you get to eat more.
Yeah,
right. Christmas. That's true. How do you feel about like having to buy presents and stuff? Do you think it's like a stressful thing?
Yeah, I feel like it can be stressful, but I feel like most people, if they're, you know, they can do it ahead of time and maybe not be as stressed as someone who does it like last minute.
Right. And going back to like football, so like you think the Thanksgiving games are better to watch them?
Yeah, it's always great to like after the game when you see the team win and like the captains, they all eat the turkey leg. Like it's nostalgic.
Yeah, I think that is pretty cool too. Do you have a favorite memory of like a Christmas game before? Like I know the Bears, they always play. I remember like I won a bet. Like my first bet against my uncle, I won. On Christmas, I won like $40.
I'd say Christmas football is definitely like memorable, but I feel like Thanksgiving football is kind of just better.
I mean, yeah, you can't beat that turkey. Like I still remember it from last year, Josh Allen chowing down on that big old turkey leg.
Yeah.
I can remember when Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown were all eating the turkey. That's probably like one of my favorite Steeler moments, honestly.
I would love to see the Steelers back there again. Don't they play like on?
They are playing on Christmas.
They play on Christmas
I was
this year.
gonna say, yeah, they play. Isn't it the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that'll be fun
if
to
you're a
watch.
Steelers fan, you might not have the greatest luck that day.
Right.
But if they win, it'll be something to remember.
And how do you feel about like the cold weather and the snow and stuff?
During Christmas?
Yeah.
Honestly, I like the snow and cold weather, but it also has its negatives. Like when you go out to drive and your windshield has frost all over it and it takes 10 minutes to defrost.
Right.
Yeah.
Or but having fun in the snow with your friends is always fun. I wish maybe Thanksgiving had a little bit of snow.
Right. Yeah, me too. I remember like when I was younger, there was like a couple Thanksgivings where I could remember where we had snow. Would you say that like snow makes like the holiday Christmas like more nostalgic?
Yeah, I feel like when everyone was a kid, they always had those memories of like sled riding down a big old hill while it's a foot of snow. So I feel like that's always something that you look for. But I think that a little snow on Thanksgiving would never hurt, and I feel like it definitely makes it more.
When you think about Christmas, you think about snow.
Yeah, right. Do you have any favorite traditions like in Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving? Definitely the backyard football game with my family.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
And what about Christmas? Is there any special things you like to do for Christmas?
Yeah, me and my grandfather usually set up like a toy train going around the Christmas tree, and I always look forward to that every.
Are you guys hunters?
Oh yeah. I hunt.
I'm not a big hunter.
Do you like hunting in the snow or?
It has its benefits. It kind of sucks when you're sitting there, but if you hit a deer and it runs, you can track it easier in the snow.
Right. I love hunting when there's snow on the ground. It's like one of my favorite times to hunt.
I feel like just walking around in the snow, like through the forest, it's nice.
Right. What are some of the better Christmas gifts that you've gotten so far?
So far, well, a couple years ago, I'd probably have to say I got this giant Lego Star Destroyer. That's probably one of the more memorable gifts that I've gotten. And the other last year, I believe, got a nice guitar for Christmas, and that was definitely probably one of the best gifts I've gotten.
Yeah, for sure. What about you? Is there anything that you've gotten for Christmas that you just like still think about?
I mean, this jersey. I still wear it. And I got a computer last year. It's pretty nice, and it's helped out a lot with schoolwork and also playing games too. So.
But yeah, that's awesome. Well, that's all the time we have for now, folks. Keep squawking, AHS.
Well, that's our show for this week. Best in the Nest is a production of students enrolled in television production courses at Armstrong High School. Join us again next time for a look at some of the unique things happening in and around Armstrong High School from the students' point of view. Until then, from our nests to yours, have a great week.